My friends, I'm here in a place that brings me encouragement, hope, joy. I'm sitting in the lobby of the White Estate in the recesses of the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists here in Maryland. There's one thing I like to bring my guests to see, and that is this great painting that's behind me on the wall. I often come down here just to think and to meditate and to contemplate the future, the promises of God. Awful things are happening in this world today. In fact, the words of an old hymn come to mind. It's an unfriendly world. Tragedies by land and sea, violent storms, these things we are told will become more and more frequent and more disastrous as we get nearer and nearer to the coming of our Lord. His purpose is not to judge us en masse and wipe out whole communities and civilizations, but rather to wake us up, to get us to think. I am so glad today for the blessed hope, and that's what this painting is all about. This painting is one of those that I enjoy going through time and time again. It proceeds from left to right, but in the center, of course, is Christ, the center of our hope, the center of our righteousness, the center of all we want to be in God. And from Him, the light emanates backward and forward into all the world. This painting represents the journey of God's people, especially in the last days. And the representation is of a group of people traveling a narrow ledge that leads upward and upward toward the great light at the finish, which indicates the coming of our Lord and the reception of His people into His eternal kingdom. There's something very interesting about this painting based on the vision of Ellen White in early writings, and that is that as we travel, the road is narrow. There's a song that says it's a narrow way. We can't carry everything of this world along with us and successfully climb the narrow way. There are places where people are discouraged. As a matter of fact, on this painting, there are places where folk lose their footing and fall away into darkness and are forgotten forever. On the day that this painting was dedicated, hundreds of people packed into this little space. The artist, who I don't believe knew I was here because I had to stand in a corner over there, was talking about the section of the painting when he came to media ministry. And of course, the oldest religious broadcast in the world was that begun by H.M.S. Richards, and at the time he was still doing that for the Lord. And he painted Fagel and Richards and some others, and he made a comment because he was standing over there and couldn't see me. He said, I started to put C.D. Brooks in this section, but I didn't know if he would appreciate being amongst these old folks. I had to come out from my little corner and say to him, don't worry about that at all, my friend. Just keep me on the wall. And I was never more sincere than when I said that in all my life. Just don't let me be one of those who falls away. And if you follow the procession near the end, because we are near the end, my friends, if you follow the procession, you will see Charles Bradford, G. Ralph Thompson, Neil Wilson, and thank God, C.D. Brooks on the wall. I want to remain there forever to the glory of God.